It is now late on the first day, going into the evening time. Earlier on the first day, Chinese air support had come down and decimated many of the tanks of the two main battle tank battalions belonging to the 29th ID right here around Chester and Petersburg. Also, heavy artillery bombardment had been going on the entire day on Petersburg, units around Chester, and also here in Richmond. We also find that to the northeast, 4 battalions of scout mechanized units had headed north along I-95 to capture key bridges going into the Middle Peninsula, to hold those bridges to keep links open with Chi-Com units of the 86th Amphibious Mechanized Infantry Division of the 31st Group Army, which was busy capturing the Middle Peninsula at this time. Some of these battalions will break apart into 2-3 battalion-sized entities. 2 will go with the soon-to-come 40th NBCR Protection Regiment, which has a special mission which will be entering the battlefield on the second day as it heads north through D.C. and towards Fort Detrick on its special mission to capture, categorize, and seize for transport back to Russia of America's chemical and biological warfare arsenal. And 2 of those scout battalions of the 100th Recon Brigade will accompany it. Meanwhile, other elements of it have been surrounding and decimating a civilian unit of 200 hastily assembled and equipped civilians, along with these 3 anti-tank battalions of the 42nd Motor Rifle Division. Also, we seen earlier that this mechanized infantry battalion and this other one have surrounded and decimated these civilians before hooking down with this main battle tank battalion and this other mech inf battalion to head into northern Richmond. That was earlier in the day. Meanwhile, down to the southeast, the Combat Engineer Regiment, the 31st of the Russians of the 58th Combined Arms Army, its 3 battalions had been busy fighting with the HQ unit for the capture and seizure of the Joint National Guard and Reserve base here, just on the eastern side of Chester. And also, they had forced a retreat on the first day of this mechanized infantry battalion into the next to last pocket to fall, which is here in the southwest of the city of Richmond. But this was done on the first day, as these battle lines depict. Also, on the flanks, artillery from 2 battalions from the 291st Artillery Brigade had moved into position on the south side of where the James River widens before it heads out to sea, and began shelling main battle tank, mech inf, and other mech inf across from the river, and also the civilians that came late on the first day to join them in fighting these combat engineers, but they were unable to break through and were soundly defeated by the combination of the combat engineers in their armored vehicles with heavy 14.5 millimeter anti-materiel machine guns, 12.7 millimeters, Kornet anti-tank missiles, and also the RPG-29 Vampires, which are handheld RPGs, which are devastating on lighter armored vehicles, such as infantry fighting vehicles and APCs. Destroying these units here, they were free to concentrate on annihilating the remaining pockets that were to be mopped up north of Hopewell and east of Chester. And earlier in the day, the engineers support squad and support company and headquarters company had been engaging Americans, a mix of civilian and LEO forces, for control of the Richmond International Airport right here. Also, late in the day, 2 scout mech battalions, upon finishing up here with the AT elements, had both hit these mixed units of American personnel, National Guard, on their way to mobilization, as well as these civilians, and upon defeating them, headed and swung north into Mechanicsville to rendezvous with the same AT battalions, as well as heading into Richmond proper to battle civilians busy retreating. Also, by the end of the first day, these mixed units on the western part of Richmond were defeated by these mech inf and main battle tank battalions here together, this main battle tank battalion and these two. They crushed them before advancing in to the city and capturing the actual state cap. By the end of the first day and into the second day, Richmond had been captured, except for this last pocket that was finished being mopped up on the second day, after the remains of this mech inf element battalion retreated there to hold its positions. On the day 2, the 40th NBCR Protection Regiment had defeated these Americans that attempted to ambush it and impede its progress. They reached the state highway, went downtown, and switched off onto 95, headed north to rendezvous with the other scouting elements from the 100th Recon Brigade that would escort them to where they needed to go. And that is where the battle ends. Early the third day, these scout mech elements defeated civilians in this last pocket here. And this last pocket here was mopped up in southwest Richmond by main battle tank battalions. And that concludes the almost 3-day Battle of Richmond-Petersburg.